Hi, it's Damian from SKATES.com. Today we will learn a crossover technique. If you are interested in this technique, I invite you to join me in this lesson. If you have not subscribed my channel yet, this is a perfect moment for you to subscribe. A crossover. You could compare this technique to a motorsport racing. While making a turn or maneuvering, these drivers often hit the gas. This is exactly what we will be doing, accelerating while making the turn. If you've watched some of my previous lessons, if not, do not hesitate following these links. You can see that I mentioned turning as one of the methods that help us to brake or stop. A crossover is the opposite. It helps us to gain speed while turning. And often mistake is crumbling up your steps. A lot of people do the crossover in a running fashion. It's okay if we want to accelerate from a full stop. There is a known hockey start, where we indeed jump across as if running. Then I accelerate further, but it was only a single leap. This is not a proper crossover. If you already do the crossover, but it looks like this, there are nothing but small baby steps. Which means it is good that you're watching this lesson. Crossover does not include these quick baby steps. You will only lose speed in this way. A properly executed crossover should involve 2, 3 or even 4 legs transfer. These are long and decent transfers. One crossover requires 2 pushes. One complete crossover requires 2 complete pushes. Hence an advanced crossover becomes really difficult. Today we will not go into that much depth, because I consider this to be appropriate for professionals. I will refer to an advanced level in my future lessons. Maybe next skating season I will make a lesson for pros, who will have to master other important techniques that will prevent your crossover from being chaotic and hissant and allow it to be decent, long and proper. Okay, the first exercise will look like this. Needless to remind you about our 3 golden posture rules. Step, step. Just making steps, like this. For now, we only do it sideways. Of course, I can make it longer. A couple of steps left and right. This would be our solid base. Remember, this is a crossover. Some people may call this an overcross. It's a crossover, period. One very important thing to keep in the mind. I have just thought of this. Before we actually begin these exercises, please try to avoid the following. You may have a pre-installed brake on your right rollerblade. You might hook with it against your other leg. It is easy to forget you have the brake on, but you will be unpleasantly reminded when you hook with it. Therefore, the important thing is to make the step high and over your other leg. See how it looks from the side, high and over, not in front. Of course, a crossover can be done in front, but we focus on high and over for the sake of the exercise. We want to form a habit where we can easily raise the leg and step over the other rollerblade. Next, we do the exact same exercise, but we also fix our position. Notice that both of my legs are held on the external edges. This is super important. Generally, this is the most difficult element in roller skating. One leg skating on your external edge. And we have this in crossover. Hence, focus on your inside edge and on your external edge after this step. Fuse every position for a short period of time. Take another step, then fix it, and so on. Watch this. When I make the step for a split moment, I remain on the external edge. I have to keep the balance with a single leg. This is the most difficult part in the crossover. You do not have to bend your ankle this much at the beginning. I have professional rigid rollerblade which allow me to do so. If you have recreational rollerblades, you won't be able to hold such acute ankle position. The boot may be soft and it will collapse. I do not know which rollerblades you use and how advanced you are, but try to fix the position like this after you make a step. If you have rigid rollerblades and believe you already have some experience, try to elongate your step, therefore holding the balance on your external edge slightly longer. Try to hold this external edge as long as you can. Time for next exercise. After we completed previous exercises, there are different possible follow-up tests, but we will try the simplest variation of the same. In example, adding a circular motion to our steps. Watch me do it first. For now, we only walk making those steps. When we attempt to go in a circle, remember that I step my right leg over my left leg, when I want to go in a left direction. When I step my left leg over my right leg, I would go in right direction. It happens sometimes that the students try to go left while stepping over to the right, which is not natural. After a couple of tries, it will be intuitive for you and should flow on its own. You will know when it feels natural. A thing to note: if I want to go in a circle, I have to open up for an L for a turn. We add a little rotation and slightly different leg position. Common mistake while going in a circle is to do something like this. Sure, I'm making steps and also turning, but I was placing my feet parallel next to each other. If you remember one of my other lessons, our toes are our steering wheels. They determine the direction of our movement. This is why I cannot place my feet like this. My rollerblade would be steered in this direction, or backwards where heels steer them. Now we have to start making a turn. So what are we adding? A rotation in our upper body. I will demonstrate from the beginning. Let's say I want to go in this direction. My step should not look like this anymore, as it was shown earlier with parallel feet. Now my step should be pointing in the direction I am moving. I aim there, I make another step, voila! Only now I have them parallel. Another transfer. Step, 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 step. With each step, my toes pointing in a direction and drive me there. Do not start with a parallel step, but like this, and make a follow-up step to reach your stepping leg. From there, I repeat the cycle. Now we add upper body rotation. In short, your right shoulder should go left maximally. This is to put it plainly. Watch, my entire torso rotates left. You can make it easier if you reach with your right arm here and back with your left arm. Watching the direction with my head, I now repeat the steps, like this. I hold my arms so that my right shoulder forces me to look, as if I was pulling myself with this shoulder, inwards the circle. Not bending the arm, but pulling myself inwards with it. The other arm reaches backwards, allowing me to lean. Thanks to all that, I'm rotating properly. And that makes the crossover so much easier. Generally, this is the easiest way to start transferring your legs. It is true that there are different ways one can do a crossover. Hockey players usually do it in a way I showed earlier. Quick, intense and dashing. A low and strong profile and a burst of transfers. It is actually difficult to show that there. I do not have appropriate wheels for this surface, and I am lacking the grip. But on the whole, I transfer leg like this. solid oversteps. Figure skaters, in comparison, usually do those beautiful crossovers and have both feet on ice, which look more appealing. Technique-wise, it is also correct. They would do a crossover like this. Occasionally raising the leg but transferring in front and right. For now, try to learn using stepping over method. It will help you to feel more comfortable with the external edge. This is the most important and difficult element. So this was the easier part when learning the crossover. There are a couple of other parts when learning this method. As you have seen, there is at least a hockey of figure skating approach, but I also want to show you how to coordinate all that together. Now you should be able to make those steps, keep practicing those basics. In a moment you can try 2 or 3 more exercises that should help you master next levels of doing a crossover. Okay. Now we want to improve our crossover. We should go back to our stepping in circle exercise. Those basics will be very important for us. Our new exercise will be very similar to figure skating approach I have shown before. Watch me do this loop, lemon with my right leg, more or less like this. I can lean on my knee here. If this exercise is not familiar to you, don't hesitate to watch my previous lesson. There we discussed a half lemon. Here, my left leg is leading in front end, staying on the external edge. Now we are adding the following element. After the half lemon, try to put your pushing leg in front of the leading leg. Mind that the leading leg would have to get back just a little. We do not want to leave the leading leg far in front. While trying to put right leg in front, I am retracting my leading leg a bit behind. Make it easier for yourself. Just like this. Half lemon to the front, leading behind.
Półbeczkę, wysuwam. Półbeczkę, wysuwam. Super.
Great. This really becomes a next level. You can do it like this, you're definitely not a beginner. In any case, this lesson belongs to intermediate lessons, and I'm glad you are here to watch. Okay, what next? Don't forget to rotate directions. We've only showed how to do it left. Now let's go right side. Another level would be trying to imitate the hockey style, which would mean I do not start with a half lemon. I would do a pushing scooter motion. If this is not familiar to you, join me in this other lesson. A very difficult and important roller skating exercise, scooter. This would look like this. Again, one leg leading in front end position. Going like this, I'm doing loops like this, using scooter pushes in a circle. My weight is mainly positioned on my front leg here. Of course, there are constant, but minor weight transfers because I am pushing with my left leg. But I'm not shifting the majority of my weight on this leg, just a small bit to be able to push. Something similar to an advanced parallel turn. Then, after a scooter push, I am stepping over my leading leg. I return to my previous position and repeat. Like this, I return and step. So, let's summarize. We start with steps in a straight line sideways. Remember to step nice and over, not in front. Okay? Next one. Same, but I am trying to elongate the step and stay on the edge. Stepping into external edges, waiting a second or two, and going into inside edges. Great, next one. We do it in circles, but not with parallel feet.
jak było, tak? Tylko
Our feet
nasza
help
noga
us
już
to
pokazuje,
drive
gdzie
in
chcę
direction
zakręcić,
in
bo
which they
prawa noga
pointing.
sygnalizuje, że zakręcam w lewo, lewa, że zakręcam w prawo.
In addition, rotate your
rotacja
upper body
tułowia w
towards the
kierunku
turn,
zakrętu.
your shoulder
Prawe ramię
chasing your hand in
jakby
back.
chciało złapać
Left hand
lewą
here
rękę,
goes
a lewa
back and
ręka idzie do
opens
tyłu,
up our
Lewa
posture
ręka do tyłu, przez co otwiera nam tutaj
and allows
lewe
us to
ramię
turn
i
nice
ładnie nas
and
prowadzi w
smoothly,
kierunku zakrętu, tak?
like
Czyli
this.
robię hop, 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 hop.
If you
Zobaczcie, jak
add your
ładnie,
upper
jak
body
tutaj
and
się
your arms,
doda te
it
ramiona,
will really
naprawdę
help you
bardzo
to turn,
ładnie to
making
samo
it super
ciągnie do
easy.
zakrętu. Ważne
But
jest tylko,
remember,
żebyście
it won't happen
robili ten
without
krok,
this step,
tak?
pointing
Przekładali
in the
w kierunku,
turning
w którym chcecie
direction.
jechać.
Okay, do this in
Robimy to
both
oczywiście na dwie
directions.
strony, a
Subsequently,
następnie
you can help yourself and
możecie
hone
sobie
your new
wspomóc i
skill by
udoskonalić
doing
to,
a
co
half
potraficie,
lemon that would
półbeczką
overtake
po
your
okręgu
leading
z
leg.
wyprzedzeniem nogi, tak? Pokażę
Showing
jeszcze
one
raz,
more time,
czyli
half lemon in
półbeczka
circles.
po okręgu, wyprzedzam
Roll
nogę,
and
hop,
overtake.
wyprzedzam nogę,
Practice it like this.
i w ten sposób doskonalicie. Zobaczcie, jak
Notice
mam
how
mocno
much I'm leaning
nogę
inwards
wewnątrz
with my
koła
leading leg.
na
At all
zewnętrznej
times on my
krawędzi.
external edge, I
Robię
am
małe
making a
kółko
small
tutaj, tak? Wy na
circle
początku
here,
możecie
but you
sobie
can
robić
always
znacznie
start with
większy
a
ten
larger
okrąg, przez
circle.
co nie będziecie
That
musieli
will be easier for you as
przyczynić
you
do
would
tego,
need a
aby
lesser
tak mocno
leaning angle.
kłaść na zewnętrznych krawędziach.
Next,
Następnie
scooter push with a
hulajnoga
proper
z
leg
przenieseniem
transfer,
już z tym,
the one that goes over your
crossem
leading
takim,
leg.
tak? Przekładanki, czyli robię
Like this,
hulajnogę,
scooter push
przekładam.
and crossover,
hulajnogę,
scooter push
przekładam.
and crossover.
Hulajnogę przekładam.
Mind the
Hulajnoga
leg
z tyłu,
leading leg,
wewnątrz
the
zakrętu,
one that
tak?
stays
Moja
inside the
prawa w tym
circle.
momencie.
You generally
Macie
have
dwie
two
opcje.
options
Albo
with it.
zostawiacie
You
ją
either
tak
leave
jak
it
teraz,
rolling
czyli ona
at
jest
all
ciągle na
times like
ziemi,
me here,
albo
or you
robicie
step up with it
przełożenie,
after
bok.
the crossover. Cross
Przełożenie,
and
bok.
step up. Cross
Przełożenie,
and step
bok.
up.
Raczej
The
ten
second
bok jest
option
mocniejszy
should
na
be easier
początku,
for beginners.
ale
Both
to
these
te dwa ćwiczenia
exercises
są jakby
should
po to,
help you
abyście
to refine your
doskonalili
crossover.
swoją
Most
przekładankę.
probably you should be
Prawdopodobnie
able
po
to
tym,
do the crossover after
po tym
the
przechodzeniu w
stepping in
kółko,
circles
jak zrobicie
exercise.
przekładankę.
Remember,
Pamiętajcie,
you do not
aby
hasten
świetnie
or leap
potrafić
in order to
przekładankę,
do a proper
nie należy
crossover.
dawać kroku.
You
Do
can
tego
leap and
kroku
hasten your
jest
step
potrzebne
to
bardzo
accelerate
szybkiego
fast.
startu,
When
tylko
your
wtedy się
hurried
robi krok
step is
przekładanki.
justified,
Albo freestyle po
or
prostu.
in freestyle case where it is done for the looks.
Nie
However,
to,
the
aby
looks
było
do not
efektywne.
always help the
Więc wiadomo, że
efficiency.
na początku
You may
nie
not be
będziecie
able to
jeździć
hold
długo
the
na zewnętrznej
external
krawędzi,
edge
tylko
for a
będziecie
long
robić
time
krok, tak?
at the beginning.
Jak
As a
najszybciej
result, you
będziecie
may try
uciekać
to hasten and
z tej
crumble up
krawędzi
your step, which
do,
will feel easier and more
bardziej
natural.
przyjaznej wam pozycji.
However,
Natomiast
in a long run, you should
czasem,
try to
jak
elongate
szukacie,
your
to
step.
należy wydłużać wasz
Attempting elongating your steps,
Czyli nie chodzi
abandon
właśnie
to
o to,
urge
co
to return
pokazywanie.
to a
Chodzi o to, żeby
comfortable and straight
tak
position,
przekładać, tak? Tylko
and
żeby
aim to
hop
make
już
these
sobie
long
starać
transfers.
wydłużyć tą
Notice how much
przekładankę,
I've
tak?
accelerated,
Zobaczcie, od razu przyspieszyłem, a robię
with just a few
znacznie
steps,
mniej kroków.
which should be
I to
your
jest
goal.
waszym celem.